I would like to call this regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order for Tuesday, January 19th, 2021. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all. Thank you very much. First order of business is public comments. If we have any, I think everybody here is going to be commenting elsewhere, so we'll move on to correspondence. Anything come in, Dion? Okay. First selectmen's report. I've got a whole bunch of stuff to cover with you tonight. First of all, let me start. One of the things that was on the at the last meeting was a discussion of the charter revision.
Matt,
yeah,
you're kind of cracking up. Your voice. You might want to try it maybe without.
Without that.
Try it and just see. It was fine, and now all of a sudden it's kind of breaking up.
Well, I might be cracking up for a lot of reasons, but let me try that. Okay, how's that? Is that better?
Much better.
Okay, all right. Let me turn this up so I can hear you guys. Okay, so at the last meeting we talked about the Charter Commission. Paul had that added to the agenda. Just wanted to give you a brief report. I did speak with Mr. Delana, who is the governor's chief counsel, and explained our predicament relative to the launch of or I wouldn't say the launch, the arrival of the pandemic and how it interfered with our timeline on charter. His opinion was that is a perfectly reasonable request, and the governor's staff is willing to look at that. He did ask that we provide him some information, such as the dates of where we left off with the charter revision, and ask our charter attorney to draft up a little bit of language, just some simple language for them to work with, so they know what it is we're asking. I spoke with Attorney Nick Vitti about that, and he is willing to do that, and he is working on that now. So we will get that up to the governor. I would imagine it's probably going to still take another couple of weeks before we have a direct conversation about that, but Mr. Delana thought that was a perfectly reasonable request, so I will continue to pursue that. Item number 2, the status of COVID infection in town. Unfortunately, it's stable, but it's still high as of this past Friday. The Bethel's positivity rate stood at 11.9%. That is a little bit more than twice the state average, which on the same date had dropped to 4.8%. Although 11.9%, anywhere from 9% to 14% is common for our area in northern Fairfield County. So unfortunately, we are seeing the bump from the holiday period. It didn't go up any worse following Christmas, going into the New Year's holiday, but certainly I have to do some more messaging and get people to wear their masks and keep doing the things they need to do to stay safe. And that moves me to the issue of the vaccine clinic. If you've been getting my updates, there are 2 methods by which Bethel residents can get pre-registered for the vaccine. One is with the VAM system, VAMS, that stands for Vaccine Administration Management System. And that is a national database that's operated by the CDC. It's been used mostly behind the scenes for many decades. But they've opened it up so that citizens can go directly, get an account with VAMS, register yourself, and then they will send you back an invitation for an appointment with a nearby clinic, whatever clinic can accommodate you, they will send you an appointment via email. The only disadvantage to VAMS is that clinic may or may not be in our area. It might be Hartford, it might be Bridgeport. If we're lucky, it might be Danbury, but it just depends on which clinic has vaccines ready to go. But I have heard of people getting appointments within 48 hours. So right now, VAMS is accepting anybody age 75 or higher, and it is working. And the press, I noticed some articles that indicated that the early results from nursing homes and other congregate settings is that the vaccine is having a positive impact very quickly. It is proving to be a very highly effective vaccine. So I really hope that there aren't still people who are worried about that. The side effects so far have been minimal, mostly sore arm, maybe a fever for a day. There's literally less than a dozen serious reactions to it out of the, I think, something like 200,000 that have been given around the country so far. So far, so good. The second way to register is with the town of Bethel directly. This is not connected to the VAM system. This is a pre-registration for the clinic that is currently being established in the town of Bethel. We expect it to be open within a week to a week and a half. If you joined us a few minutes ago, Tom and I were just talking about like setting up for a trial run and making sure the software works for the people who are going to be doing the checking in. They're being equipped with computers. We've got a number of volunteers and hired staff member, like people who are licensed to administer vaccines. And those people who are going to be working the clinic are going to be going through an orientation and getting their vaccines tomorrow. The location is going to be the track and field training center at Bethel High School. Once it's up, we did receive a small number of vaccine doses for the purpose of inoculating those people who are going to be working in the clinic. But as soon as they're up and running, then other shipments will be coming in. The Bethel system is also, the pre-registration system is up on the town website. I want to thank Tom Galliford for that. He designed the form and worked with IT. So it's a very simple, easy to use system. What it does is you go into the website and you put your name on a list. And when the vaccine is available, staff members from the town will call you or email you and say, okay, we've got, when can you come in? We've got X number of vaccines available. You're next on the list. So this is actually a very exciting, positive development. It's moving forward. And I think at this point, it's going to expand pretty quickly. It's dependent on how fast and how many doses of vaccine we can get. So that is dependent on the national rollout. But I want to thank Laura. Laura has worked on this 7 days a week since this whole thing started. Tom has done great work. The schools are cooperating with us. They're providing all the computers for the setup of the clinic, all the equipment, the chairs, tables, and the space to conduct the clinic. So this is a really good team effort. And I want to thank them for everything that they put into this. Next, I want to talk just a little bit about the state of the economy. As my colleagues know, we're going into budget season. And this is, we're still under the effect of a pandemic. And there's a tendency for people to think that, that we do need to help people. We do need to make sure that we're not placing burdens on people when things are tough. But on the other hand, I wanted to give you some statistics on the local economy. As of January 1st, the unemployment rate in the town of Bethel, according to the Connecticut Department of Labor, stood at 7.0%. That's roughly double what you would call the natural rate of unemployment would be. That usually hovers around 3 to 3.5 in a healthy economy. So the delta there is about a 3.5% difference of people in our town who are currently unemployed. What we're seeing in town hall, though, is some people are affected, by this pandemic, but a great number of people are not only not affected, but they're spending money on a number of things. Our town support offices continue to set records. So building permits, land use permits, the health department and getting, new applications for renovations to homes, expansions to homes, new pools, new septic fields. These things, they are absolutely just stretched to the max. And we've had to bring in some help, like a part-time building inspector to try to help take a little bit of the load off of Chris Baldwin's department, because it has been a real struggle for them to keep up with the workload. This is not too atypical in the summer months, but what's really remarkable is that this workload has continued all the way through the fall and is still going pretty strong right now. Real estate sales is another indication of the local economy. The month of December set a new record with an increase in single-family home transfers, sales, in other words. Month of December 2020 versus month of December 2019 saw a 183% increase in home sales. For 2020, for the full calendar year versus 2019, there was a 28% increase, and the median price of those homes escalated by just under 13%. Another indication is the deferral program. As my colleagues know, we recently, the governor re-upped the property and real estate tax deferral program that they had in place last spring. Last spring, we had about 60 applications, which was not anywhere near what we expected. It was a much smaller number. And that deferred a little over $120,000 worth of tax revenue, pushed it back to the back 90 days. And all but 17,000 of that has been caught up. So far with this new plan, only 3 applications have been received so far. Those will, the window for applying will still be open till the end of the month. So we'll see what else we're going to get. But this is a pandemic crisis that is not affecting everybody equally. It affects some people negatively. And of course, I hope in the upcoming year there'll be more support systems in place for those folks. But the town is financially very strong. The tax collection rate still remains close to 99%. And, these are the things we have to keep in mind as we go into the budget season. So that's the first Selectmen's report. I'll stop and see if my colleagues have anything they want to add or any questions. Yeah.
Did you say the unemployment rate was 7%? I didn't quite hear you when you said that.
7%.
Okay, and then my other question is on the phone call to the health department about making reservations.
Yes.
For putting you on the list for the COVID thing.
Yes.
I've gotten a couple calls and people had a hard time getting through. The phone was busy and they said to go online. Is there staff to answer the phone and help my generation? Not everybody has a computer or is computer illiterate, so they need to talk to someone and help them, fill out the paperwork.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I meant to mention that we have 5 lines coming in, and we're trying to put some more people on the phones to answer the phones. We have literally fielded hundreds of calls, and Lisa Plum and the senior center staff is actually picking up some of the volume on that. And Deanne, I'm going to ask you, how many callbacks did you have to make today from the voicemail?
I made at least probably between 20 and 25.
Mm-hmm.
Was, the list that I had. They will get a call back. They have to leave them a voicemail.
They can do that. Okay.
It seems like there's frustration on the fact that somebody doesn't answer immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They will leave a message. Then we have 2 people that are manning the hotline. We have the senior center staff. We have Megan in social services, and then myself that are also fielding calls too. Mm-hmm. It's not that they're not going to get a call back. It's just that they might actually have to leave a message.
Yeah, they get frustrated or they're hanging on or no one pick up and
Yeah, I think I'm glad you brought that up. I think I need to do a robocall on that. Just ask people, let people know we're aware of the problem. We're trying to increase the capacity of the staff as fast as possible. But just keep trying, and they will get help. And that staff is doing a great job of trying to keep up with as best they can. I think it's get past the initial rollout of this thing. I think the phone call volume will kind of smooth out a little bit.
Yeah.
but initially right out of the gate. By the way, I forgot to mention, with the Bethel system, not the VAM system, but with Bethel, we're taking pre-registrations for 65 and up, not 75 and up will still get the first vaccine. But if you're in
on
the,
that list.
yeah, you can get registered. Yeah, Paul, go ahead.
Listen, couple questions right here. Maybe it should be directed towards Tom Galliford. How many people have we already registered here in Bethel for the people that are 75 plus? Because I've got a couple of calls here. Paul, you're one of us. He says, what do you hear? And I told him how to register online.
Yep, Paul. So as of yesterday was Monday, yesterday at noon, we had about 480, somewhere in that range. Some were duplicates, but we had about 480 people, and about 99% were over 75.
Yeah.
Since today, when we changed it, we probably have just about as many. So it's a very large list.
Do you have an idea what's the quantity that you're receiving in terms of vials of this vaccine?
So it's all based on what Laura requests, what we think we can do in a week's time, in clinics. So
Yeah.
based on that. So, and it's based on performance. So we have what we request and get, we have to be able to put in people's arms.
How many people do you have giving injections?
I think she has 7 or 8 vaccinators right now, and she's looking to increase.
Okay.
That.
All right.
So
it's a substantial number then.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So so again, we're going to do kind of a setup clinic for the workers, and they're allowed to be vaccinated. So that will happen tomorrow, and that'll kind of help us, work out the kinks and any issues, and we'll slowly start ramping up from there each week.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know I registered, the 75 plus crowd here, which is me.
Yeah. So like I said, as of Monday, there was close to almost 500 names on that
Yeah.
list.
Right, because I've received a couple of calls over the weekend. I told them what to do, how I did it.
Yeah.
I guess it works.
Yeah, so you'll be getting a call in the next week or so week or two to make an appointment for one of our clinics and be vaccinated.
Good. Okay, good. Hey, Matt, you were speaking about budgets. Are you putting together a schedule for the, you are? Okay.
Well, Dion is.
Pardon me?
Dion is the master scheduler, but yes.
Okay. Dion, you're doing it. And we're looking at predominantly February and March.
Yep.
All
Yes.
right.
Well, we would have all of our budget meetings done by, I would think, the department meetings done with us by February, by the end of February.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you
We
remember,
usually start mid-February.
yeah.
And for the selectmen, I know Rich feels this way. Are we going to get a printed version, or do we have to deal with that little computer?
I will see about a printed version. There is a way to print what's in the computer, and I think it's a module we have to install, but it is going to be we are making improvements to the computer so that there's more information and it's easier to find.
That little Chrome computer, it's a sort of a pain, in comparison to what we use. Now, okay, the next question for you, Matt, is my favorite subject, police station. And maybe Marty can help me out on this one too. What kind of progress are we making here? Or as Nancy Ryan might be here, she might be.
Actually, let me just say that Marty is preparing information to present to the next public site building meeting.
Okay.
We've had the roof scanned. Marty, did we get the roof report back from the engineer?
No, not yet. It was supposed to be, they expected to have it Monday. They got the results, but they were going to do a report and give it to us on Monday. But I guess because of the holiday, we didn't with it. So I haven't gotten it yet. But as soon as I get it, I'll pass it out to several people, including Nancy, and what's going on.
All right.
We're very close to issuing a full report, but still doing the background information. But it's not. The silence doesn't mean it's not being worked on. It just means
I understand that. I'm just want to move it along.
Oh, you and me
I think
both.
we all do. There's no question about that.
I can tell you, Nancy does too.
I
Jacob,
just
yep.
don't want to get the town, compromised to the point that we have to give in. There's
Yeah.
no such
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
All right. Other than that, those are my only questions.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Rich?
One more question. Is the board, is it the health department you call on those numbers, or is there special numbers for the call in for the COVID?
Oh, go ahead, Deanne.
The number for the COVID hotline is 203-794-8523.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
please do not call the health department directly. They are very, very busy setting up the clinics and doing day-to-day health department stuff. So that's why we have the info line in the senior center where you can call to answer all your vaccination clinic questions and get on the list. So please
Right.
call those other
Yeah.
numbers.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because people ask me, what number should I call? And I
Yeah.
say, just the health department numbers. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Before we move on, I want to make a motion to add one thing to the agenda. It'll be new item number 7. Make a motion that we add the following: presentation of draft language for the Fire Commission ordinance. This will not be for a vote tonight. This will just, I just received the draft language over the weekend from Marty, but I want to present it so people can see it and it's out in the open and everybody can read it. So if I can have a second to that.
Second.
Second by Rich. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that is new item number 7 on the agenda. So now I'm going to go back to item number 5. Consideration of the minutes of the January 5th meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Okay, so moved by Rich and seconded by Paul.
Wait,
And Marty.
Wait.
I know. Marty has a correction. So now we have the motion on the floor. Go ahead, Marty. What part needs to be fixed? You're muted.
You're muted, Marty.
Okay, on the section concerning the application for deferral of assessment increase at 86 Greenwood Avenue, I think it needs to be clarified. So I just basically redid it and just said first Selectman Knickerbocker made a motion which was seconded by Selectman Straighten to approve the 2-year assessment deferral for the second floor improvements at 86 Greenwood Avenue. As recommended by the Economic Development Commission. All right, then I put down the assessment freeze represents a savings of $40,552.78 in taxes over the 2-year period based on the current mill rate. I gave this language already to Dion. So what I'm trying to say is that I think it needs to be made clear that we're giving them this break based on the assessment, not the fact that they're going to guarantee to get the $40,000. That's just at the current mill rate to give everybody an idea what it would be.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Okay, so you gave the language over to Dion already, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Richard, Paul, are there any other corrections that you noted?
I didn't see any. No. Okay.
Okay. All right, then I will try your minds. Those in favor of approving these minutes as amended by the town attorney, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you very much. Item number 6, consideration of appointments. I have correspondence from both town committees. There's only one position that I had a question on, but what I'm going to do is just go down commission by commission and make a motion. This should go pretty quickly. For the Commission on Aging, the Bethel Republican Town Committee recommends that we reappoint Judy Novacek to that position. So I'll put that motion on the floor. Seconded by Paul. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that carries. Number 2, Economic Development Commission. We have a recommendation from the Bethel Democratic Town Committee to reappoint Mr. Mike Boyle to that position. That's the only vacancy on that board. So Rich will make that motion. I'll second that. Any discussion? And those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that carries. Ethics Commission, we have a recommendation from the Bethel Republican Town Committee to appoint Gary Regan to that position.
No,
So,
second.
Yep, so Paul will second that. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That carries. Let's see. I did not hear from Beth Cavagna, so I don't know if she wants to stay on Housing Authority, so we may have to go back to that one. The library board was already done. We did that at the last minute. So Parks and Recreation Commission. There's no conflict on these, by the way. So I'm going to, everybody wants to be reappointed. I want to thank the volunteers who are putting their time into this. Apparently very happily so. So very, very glad to have their expertise. So I'm going to make a motion that we reappoint to the Parks and Rec Commission under the recommendation of both town committees, Scott Perry, Dave Pinenberg, and Lou Valenti. So Perry and Pinenberg are from the BRTC, Lou Valenti is from the Bethel Democratic Town Committee. So Paul seconded.
Second.
Rich seconded too. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public Site and Building Commission. The only name that I see is expiring that I didn't get a recommendation on one way or the other is Dino Galtieri. Paul, do you know if he wishes to remain on that?
No, he wants to, I believe he submitted his resignation.
Okay.
But I know the Republicans town committee recommended David Horvath.
Yeah, I have that one. Let me see who else we have here.
Let's get that one. I'll call him right now and ask him.
Well, that's okay. We can push it to the next meeting. Nancy, you're muted.
All right.
Go ahead if you want to weigh in there.
So Dino has resigned, and the LTC is in progress, I believe, in appointing or recommending a new person to take Dino's place.
Okay.
Other than myself, David Horvath's term is up.
Yep.
And I don't know if you have any other names.
Yep. Well, yeah, there's 3 names in total. So I'm going to put those on the floor now. We'll make a motion that we reappoint John Perna, Gil Letelier, Dave Horvath, and Nancy Ryan on the recommendation of the 2 town committees. Is there a second? Okay,
Second.
Paul and Rich seconded. Okay, so the one position for Dino is open, but I'll try your minds on the other 4. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That carries. Youth Commission. We have 2 openings, and the Bethel Republican Town Committee recommends that Marie Mothersbaugh and Kristen Nauheimer both be reappointed. So I'll put that motion on the floor.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that carries. And last for tonight, BRTC recommends that we reappoint Joan Hislop to the position of Youth Commission alternate. So I'll make that.
Second.
Okay. Paul seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That carries. That concludes the appointments, except for the 2 openings that we'll get back to later. So now I'm going to move on to presentation of draft language for the Fire Commission. I want to thank the town attorney. Town attorney works as many weekends as Laura Vasile does, and I know that probably gets old, but Marty, I appreciate it. So Marty, do you want to, I know you sent out the material to the 2 selectmen, but you want to cover any points of that?
No, what I did was I looked at, I call it a mission statement that the Board of Selectmen approved. And from then I drew up this and I added a few things that most of our ordinances have. There was a couple of spots where I was a little bit confused. So I tried to figure out, in my own mind, what I thought the board was going at, and I plugged it back in. The only thing is, there's a grammatical error on 13-3A where I talk about the town board of selectmen, and I've got MAN instead of MEN, so that's got to be changed. Other than that, I tried to follow the format that was set forth by the board of selectmen. And I mean, you're free to obviously change it, maybe add things, take away things, whatever you want to do. The other thing I did too was I tried to incorporate the other things that the fire department is associated with. Not that they have total control over it, but the ambulance, the EMS, and a few other things. So that's it. I mean, if anybody's got any comments,
Yeah, Marty, there's just one on 13.4, and it's just an issue, maybe just with me for clarification. You got here, it says the commission shall conduct an organizational meeting with a reasonable time after its creation and appointment of 5 voting members to elect its 5 voting members, a chairperson. The question is, if a member of one of these 5 is from the Board of Selectmen, I just have a problem putting the individual from the Board of Selectmen as a chairman. That could happen.
yes, it could. Yes, it could.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it's the board's wishes not to have the selectmen put there, that's fine with me. I was more concerned with the fact with minority representation.
Yeah.
One of the selectmen, if it ends up being you, Paul, as a Republican, now you've already taken 1 out of the 5 spots already. That was the biggest concern. So, but no, I don't have a problem with that. If you don't want it to be the selectmen, that's fine.
I don't know. I'd like to hear comments from Matt or from Rich on that. I think if the chairman would be from the Board of Selectmen, you got a little bit of a bias there, I think.
Not to have a member of the Board of Selectmen be chairman.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't think the firemen would elect anyway, but.
Okay. That was one. That was one.
That word.
And it was the other issue. It's not even an issue, but maybe it's a clarification for me. It's the last item on page 4, number D. The fire department's responsibilities under D. It says submit an annual report to the commission to include a summary of all call volumes and all types of calls, budget, and accounting expenses. Should we have in there, I'm just throwing this out, and reimbursements?
Well, we could certainly put it in. I think when it's an accounting expense overview, sure, we could put that in. That's not a problem.
Matt, Rich?
Yeah.
There was a question about that because of the Firehouse Corporation, where they raise their own money, that it's not town money.
This would only apply to town funds.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, that should be covered. I think you're right.
Yeah. That's it from
Okay.
my perspective. Otherwise, I like it.
Okay. Well, as I said, Marty can make those adjustments, and we want to give everybody time to read this over, and then of course we have to have a public hearing too. So, Tom and Chief Baker, thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. We'll make sure you have that. If you have any questions in the meantime before the next meeting, any clarifications, feel free to call us. Call Marty. So we appreciate that. By the way, Chief Baker, did you guys have your elections already?
Oh, yes, we did. As a matter of fact, I was going to send you an email, an invite to our next meeting for the swearing in of the officers.
Okay.
Report that there was no changes in officer ranks, so it'll be a good year.
Well, congratulations to you. So I wish you a successful year.
Matt.
Yeah.
So can I just say thank you to the Board of Selectmen and to Marty, and the best part of this whole ordinance to me is that preamble where the 2 fire departments are now going to be recognized entities of the town of Bethel, where for over 100 years, 120 20 years or more. The Bethel Fire Department's been in existence, and
Yeah, you were an orphan, that's all.
70 years for Stony Hill, that, this is really something that I've been wanting to see done in the town of Bethel for a long, long time, that we are now, a part of the town, really, and that we have some say, and that you have some say over us as far as what goes on, and that loop is closed on it. So I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate all your input, Tom, and the fact that you kept bugging me about it till we got this far. Because yes, you've been bringing this up for a long time, so I appreciate your diligence and your expertise very much. So unless there's any other questions on the draft language, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if Paul knows that, but Scott Murphy has not retired, but there's a new chief in the Bethel, Chris McCollum.
Yeah.
I don't know. If
Oh,
Paul-
really?
Yeah. Chris was voted chief last a week ago yesterday, I think.
No, I didn't know that.
Okay. Well, any other questions? And if there are none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn for this evening.
So move.
Okay.
Second.
Seconded by Paul. Yes, Marty,
Okay.
you're muted again. Okay. All right. Those in favor, signify by saying
Aye.
that carries. We are concluded. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Tom. Thanks, Marty, Nancy, Dion, Paul, Rich.
Good night.
Good night.
Stay safe.